You want her to have these restrictions on you just because
Like, stop being
now.
so thirsty for a grandchild. It's really uncute.
This is the I'm Uncomfortable podcast, the podcast for people who want to be okay with being uncomfortable. We're your hosts, Vanessa
And Melissa. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the podcast. And today, Vanessa and I are talking about how we've managed to dodge teenage pregnancy for almost 15-ish, 20 years of our life. Depends on when. And before we get into our uncomfy moments, as we always do, I just wanted to share a little bit of why I wanted to even bring this topic up. We're in that age, and if you don't know, we're about to be 33 this year. And everywhere around me, I'm seeing our cool friends that are moms. I'm hearing colleagues around me talking about kids. I'm hearing family members talking about kids. I have cousins that have kids, plural. So it's just been a hot topic for me, at least. And it was something.
Wait, can I tell you something?
Sure.
Uh,
What?
I've been so busy today, but I opened Instagram, and the first fucking thing I saw is this girl from college announcing her pregnancy to her mom.
So pregnancy announcements, gender reveals, second baby announcements, third baby announcements,
How
you know what I mean?
appropriate.
Yeah. And so it's just been a topic that has been coming up quite frequently in my echo chamber of my life. And I was like, but I'm just a
Called your life
girl.
an echo chamber. You're like the echo chamber of Melissa's life
The
is
echo chamber-
echoing babies.
Right. Babies.
Babies.
Yeah, and so and also recently my dad was like talking to me about something that had to do with my younger brother, who is about 16 or 17 years younger than me.
You mean your baby?
Yeah, technically could have been, I could have been a teenage mom. I kind of was. But he was talking to me about something about him, and he's like, you'll understand when you're a parent. And I was like, when? If? Who? Me? I'm just a girl.
I'm just a baby.
But I'm just a baby. But yeah, I just wanted to bring this to the table because it's highly uncomfortable for me. And maybe we'll get into some, uncomfortable territory, existential crises territory. But
We've
first,
talked about it multiple times, so yes, we will.
yeah, we will get into it. But first, Vanessa, do you want to share with us what
I do.
Menti bee you had at the Whole Foods?
I almost had a meltdown at the salad section in the Whole Foods in Walnut Creek. And I
Do tell.
first of all, LOL, my first year of teaching when I was like literally so broke, why was I at that Whole Foods Hot Foods Market? Like I paid for my food and I was leaving and she was like, that'll be $46. And I was like, fucking what? 40 $46? Now, granted, I did buy food knowing that I needed dinner tonight and lunch tomorrow. But
Right.
still, $46, I could have gotten some sushi or something. Like I might as well have eaten out. Kind of. It wouldn't have been as healthy, but you know what I mean. And I was just like, oh my God, why was I doing my first year of teaching? Like, why was I doing this? Who did I think I was?
Because you was an adult, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You've
I
got
really thought I had
money.
adult ass money. And now that I have more money, literally like now that I have twice the money that I had when I was actually doing that, I still am like, what?
Girl,
What?
that's a good thing.
Yeah, but like it just made me laugh. I was walking out and I was just laughing to myself. But I had a meltdown because I am in my hold on, let me be accurate. I am in my luteal phase, according to my app. Wolf energy. I'm not really feeling like a wolf. I'm feeling like a dog that got beat up. And
Oh, I too am in my luteal phase.
did we
It's
sync
not
up?
short.
How? We don't even live near each other. That's wild.
Oh.
Okay. Well, whatever. So I'm in that phase. And I guess, so today was a long day. It was very intense. We had the campus that I'm helping out here, we had this, VR truck come for the kids. But there were student issues. And this campus just has student issues. And one of the issues that I texted you about was that one of the assistant principals brought these two girls down from fifth grade. And I was like, what the fuck are these girls doing here? And then I was like, so what's the issue? And one of the girls, well, she pulled my hair. And I was like, okay, but why? And the other girl goes, well, she called me a bad word. And I looked at the other girl and I was like, what'd you call her? And she goes, the M word. I was like, what's the M word? MF. And I was like, motherfucker? You called her a motherfucker?
You said that
Are
to them?
No, but I knew what it meant when she said MF. What else would be MF?
Right.
I was like, listen, when I was in the 5th grade, I used to think that it was cool to, I mean, my friends used to call each other these like bad words all the time, you know, just like, ha ha, hee hee, like, ooh, we're cool. But clearly she's not feeling it today. So like, while you're both wrong, first of all, you're both wrong, because pulling her hair is not an appropriate reaction, but also, girl, she was not feeling it today. And so you calling her, because I asked her, I was like, why do you think she pulled your hair? And she goes, I don't know. And I was like, are you for real?
Let's do some self-reflection.
Yeah, I was like, because the assistant principal was with me. And I was like, if she called me that word and I was not in the mood and we weren't friends like that, I mean, I'm an adult, so I wouldn't have yanked her hair, but I would have still felt some type of way about it. And then they smiled and I was like, okay, we're in a good place. We can solve this. But it was just like issues like that the whole day. And I decided to go to SoulCycle, even though I am not in the intense workout recommended phase of my period, but I have this class expiring, long story, but I was like, let me use it today while I have the time. And I just was so tired after the class and after the day. And I don't know, I was like, I can't cook because I don't have a container to take to work tomorrow. I don't know what I want to eat. And then when I got to the salad bar, I was looking at the app that I have for my period tracking recommends recipes. And I was looking and I could not find beets. There was no beets in the salad bar section.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back, was the fact that it did not have beets.
I was going to walk away. I was going to leave. I had already put the greens in the container. And I was like, can I just leave this here? Like, there's no... Are they going to run after me?
Control Z, undo. Can I put these greens back?
I was just so fixated on making this one particular salad. And I couldn't get over them not having beets. I thought beets was like a standard salad bar. Like
definitely
I
at Whole Foods.
When I walked in and I realized I didn't want to cook, I was like, what am I gonna do? And I thought I was a genius when I thought about that. I was like, oh, the salad bar. I know there's salad recipes in the app. Like, let me just go make a salad. And then when there were no beets, I lost my fucking mind. But and they're in the fridge now. I went over to like the deli area and they had beets. Like, I don't know why they had beets there. Whatever. I ended up getting beets. I made a random salad. I picked up it's all gonna be fine. It's all gonna be okay.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna work out.
I got myself a sweet treat. And then I got back to the hotel and I was like, I don't have my hairbrush. I forgot a sleeping time shirt. Like, this is like a sports bra that I'm wearing right now. And I just whatever. It's just whatever.
You're gonna just sleep in the nude, and that's fine.
Luckily I had this rando sports bra like extra in my bag. Otherwise, I would be sleeping in my birthday suit. Which, like, I mean, it's just me, whatever. But like, it was a lot.
A lot of little things.
Yeah, and the beets were really the straw that broke my back. It was like, cool.
It's like, not the beets.
And I was like, since when do I even like beets that much? I don't.
It was the fact that you had it in your mind that you're like, okay, this recipe says, and then you were like, I'm gonna get the salad bar. Go to the salad bar. It's gonna be bing bang boom.
Yeah,
it was not bing bang boom.
I was like, right. I was like, okay, I'm so smart. Like, I got this. Like, I'm gonna be able to make this little salad recommendation, whatever. Whatever.
And then the universe was like, not today. And then your luteal phase was like, yeah, we're going to get mad about this.
Yes.
You're going to get so upset.
I was so upset. I was standing there and I was like, we're going to take some deep breaths. This is not the end of the world. And I will say that before I started tracking, so because of 21 Medium, I'm tracking my cycle and actually paying attention. And that's why I had a specific recipe in mind. Otherwise, this whole thing might not have happened. But because I was tracking, I knew that I was more prone to being upset in this time about these things and having it kind of stack up and be irritated. And I was able to like calm myself down with that knowledge. So
love that for you, because when I did get that, I was stepping out of the shower and then I saw this text message from Vanessa being, I'm gonna have a meltdown at the salad bar, and I was like, uh-oh.
And then you asked me what happened, and I was like, I can't even text right now. Like,
So mad.
I'm so too angry. It's
Oh
fine.
my gosh.
It's fine. It's gonna be fine. I have it. I'm gonna eat after this. Great.
It's gonna be fine. It'll be great. You better post a picture of that freaking beet salad. Hashtag
if
21
you
medium.
If you didn't watch my recipe video that I had posted on our Instagram page from the last time I was at Whole Foods and actually cooked, you better go watch it just to make me feel better about this whole salad bar experience. I swear to God.
Oh my gosh.
And so you now.
Oh, shall we transition to my uncomfortable moment? Yes.
Yeah.
It is a full-on spring, and
Where's this going?
people around me that have allergies are getting the allergies. It's been super windy over here in Southern California, and the pollen be everywhere. And I don't really suffer from like seasonal allergies, knock on wood, but I'm
Blessed. What is that like?
I know I am blessed, and I do not take that for granted. But me and my boyfriend have this rule of like, you get 3 sneezes. Like, you get 3 sneezes. 1, okay, that was, that's fine. Second
Wait,
one,
3 sneezes and then what? You go to jail? I don't understand. Like, what?
let me
what's the
explain.
consequence?
Let me explain. I'm getting there. I got you. Don't worry. We're on this journey. So the first sneeze, fine, totally fine. Second sneeze, we're both looking at each other like, that's sus. What's going on? Allergies? Okay, allergies. All right. If you give me a third sneeze, we're always like, who's getting sick? We do not have time to get sick.
Oh my God, I can't hang out with either of you. Literally, you talking about sneezing made me want to sneeze.
But that's just kind of like our gauge, right? And it was just funny yesterday when I was at work, I had a sneeze and I was like, whoa. It was one of those sneezes where I was like, uh-oh. That one felt like a significant sneeze. There's like a difference between like my nose is itchy sneeze and like something where my body's like, we're fighting something. And it felt like one of those sneezes. So I was like, uh-oh. And then my boss, whose office is just like down the hallway, I heard her sneeze like 7 times in a row. And I was like, girl.
It's allergies, Melissa. Have some empathy for us, the struggling sector of the world.
I mean, I know I do have empathy, and that's what I realized. It is spring, it is allergy season, but it was just funny because everyone was like on high alert in the office. Was like everyone was having their one sneeze because it's just been so windy, and everyone was like,
excuse me, you sneezed 7 times. I think you need to go home.
She did go home. She was not in the office.
Allergies are that bad. Like, I've had to take a sick day once, and I literally was like, "Is this allergies or am I sick?" I honestly
hay fever is real, and I've had hay fever before, where I was like, "Well, I don't feel like I have full on flu or anything, but it was just so congested here that I could not function." Fever? I don't know, because hay causes grass hay pollen. I don't know. Hey. But yeah, it was just a funny uncomfortable moment because everyone was like in the office,
like,
and it just made me think of me and my boyfriend's like little thing that we have. It's like, okay, you get one more sneeze that you're allotted today, or we have problems.
Sneezing was like, you have COVID, and everyone was like how dare you sneeze?
More
one
so
time I
like
almost coughed.
Yeah, it was the cough.
Yes, I almost coughed and I tried to stop it, and then it ended up coming out. I was like, and like my eyes started watering, and like I should have just coughed, and I just made it much worse. Yeah, and then because I suppressed it, I ended up having to cough like 10 times because I had I don't know what I'd done.
You irritated it even more. Your body was like, okay, we just need this one cough, and it'd be fine.
One.
And then you suppressed it.
Yeah, and then I was like, bad idea. Shouldn't have done that.
Right. So.
Okay, well, I hope that you are not plagued with the allergies of others for much longer.
It's fine. We're fine. We're all fine over here. It's okay. Everyone you have the right to sneeze. It's fine. Just as long as you freaking cover your mouth. That's my only thing. Because some people be sneezing out here without covering their mouth, and that's gross.
Why do people do that?
I
Why?
don't know.
Why?
It's
Like,
like-
cool, just straight to jail. Why are
Like
you
sneezing
still
like that, right?
Also,
It's
like,
ugly.
not cute. At least hide it. Hide
I do
hide
the
your
full
soul
on.
leaving your body.
I
Yeah,
do the full
the
on thing.
vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's what we
Gosh.
teach the children.
Yeah.
But, well,
But some people have not learned since COVID. But anyways, that's another topic.
shame on them. Okay, well, so we're going to talk about the fact that you want babies is, I think, what's on the agenda, right?
No. That's interesting. Was that actually your guess as to the reason? One of the reasons why I brought it up? This topic?
No.
Oh, okay. Whew. God, I was like, girl, we're on those. We're not on the same
but,
page.
like, I might.
I might too.
Might. It's
What?
so funny because, like, literally 2 years ago, I've been like, fuck, no, absolutely not. Get away from me with that shit. Like,
Yeah.
bye. And now, one of my friends recently was like, well, I'm not trying. And I was like, what's happening? What is going on? She was like, well, like, if it happens, it happens. And I was like, stop it.
Dude. I do not like to play with fate like that, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, she's open to it is the big
Yeah.
thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's the shocker. So she's not like, it's hard. Because, you know, I know some people who they really had to be intentional about trying
Mm-hmm.
to have a baby. And so she's like, well, let's just see if it happens without, you know, putting too much pressure on it type
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, to even get to that mindset or that like realization, that point to be like, okay, if it happens, it happens, and that you'd be happy either way, kind of thing. I'm far from that.
Well, okay, but like you said when we started talking that this came up for you because you feel like a lot of people around you are having children.
I guess what recently brought this cycle of thought up was that one of my cousins is now pregnant with her third child. And it just made me think that, like, and of course I'm happy for her, duh. Like, I get another cute little nephew or niece, you know?
Yeah.
But,
How old is the first child?
She is 3.
Oh, wow. And
Yeah.
this is number 3?
3, yeah. So she's gonna have
back.
3 under 4 years old. Like, that's crazy.
That's wild.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine and fathom, because
No.
she's what, 3 years older than me, older than us. So
Yeah.
I would have been,
Okay.
if I were in that same situation, I would have been preggers right
Well,
now.
your mom already had you, and then some, right? By the
Right.
time, well, not by the time that
She
you
had
became
both
your
me
age
and my
now.
older brother
Yeah.
at this point in time.
So that's weird for me because Evelyn did not have me until she was 40. And so it's so funny because when I was younger, of course, it was like, you have to get married, blah, blah, blah. Don't live with a boy, all this stuff, right? And now
Don't
she
live-
could give a fuck about I don't even think she would care who the baby daddy was so long as she had
Gets the
an
grandchild.
adult. Yeah, a grandchild. And I was like, cool, mom, where do your standards go? Can you please have high expectations for me still? Because this is rude. This is feeling rude and desperate. It's giving desperate. I don't want it.
Desperate. So you want her to have these restrictions on you just because?
Like, stop
Now.
being so thirsty for a grandchild. It's really uncute. She's like,
See, that's
I'm
so
getting
interesting.
older. And I was like, well, that's not my fault. That's your fault. And then
That's
she gets mad at
interesting.
me. Why? Because she was older? Yeah, like she lived a full ass life. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, okay, and I know biologically that probably the time has not probably, actually, absolutely. The time wherein I would have been, I guess, like the most ready to have a kid has already physically passed us by.
Yeah.
We're
I
like
know.
geriatric pregnancies now. It's this
Okay,
like,
can we talk about that term? Because dude, I was so insensitive. Like, this was already like 3 years ago, I think, when a former coworker of mine, I'm not even gonna get into details, but they were like on the older side, meaning like she was in her late 30s and she was pregnant, and she was telling us that she was pregnant, and we're like, oh my gosh, congratulations.
Pregnant
and
grandma.
then she was like, yeah, it's a geriatric pregnancy. And I was like, no. I laughed because I was like, no, it's, what are you talking about? Like, you're not old. And then she's just like, no, that's literally the term that they've given me for this pregnancy because I am at that age, the late 30s. And I was like, wow, that's rude.
Right? Rude. Excuse me? I am not geriatric yet.
Geriatric pregnancy? That's rude as hell. And I don't know, like all these thoughts. That was kind of that instance of learning that my older cousin was having her third child. It was kind of this moment where I was like, whoa, she's 3 years older than us. But it just kind of brought up so many questions in my mind because, like you, I've kind of ping-ponged between wanting a kid and then not wanting kids and then wanting one kid only because in this economy, and then also like, but then will that one kid be like, I grew up with a sibling and it would be nice in my head to have that child grow up with a sibling as well, to have an experience.
The only children are okay. Don't worry about us.
Sometimes.
Well, I can't speak for all of them, I guess.
But I've gone through all of these questions in my head, and there's so many perspectives of the reasons why people want to have kids and don't want to have kids and decide this or that. But it's like, do we even want kids, or do we sometimes just feel like that we should have kids, whether it's pressure from external, like your mom,
yes,
or people around us? So these are like all the things that I've just been thinking about, and it's been making me so uncomfortable.
I love that you brought that up, because when I would talk to men before, I would ask them, why do you want kids? And a lot of the time, these men could not give me a motherfucking answer. Like,
interesting.
If they even if they had just straight up said, I want to procreate, or like, I want to like make a mini me, or like, I want to pass down my lineage, even that basic ass answer I would have accepted. But some of them could not even say that. Like, they couldn't even just verbalize. I don't know if
they said that they wanted to have kids.
Yeah.
But they couldn't give a reason.
Right. And I was like, if you can't give me even the most basic ass reason, if you can't tell me even that, like, biologically we're programmed to want to procreate and create children and continue, which is all true. But if you can't even tell me that, then like, what business do you have wanting a child? And you also don't have to do anything. Literally, your sperm go in, they do all the work, and then the woman carries the child.
That's how babies are made?
According to the book my mom made me read with the smiling sperms on their way. Yeah.
Oh, your mom's like a hero. She's so funny.
She's an icon. Men's bodies, they don't change. Nothing happens to you. And when we were talking to Zach, remember that part in our conversation where he was telling us that his mom, I think, asked him if he was going to be pregnant with his wife. And I was like, whoa, what a concept. But like, yeah, if I can't have sushi, you can't have sushi. If I can't have coffee, you can't have coffee. Like, it's not fair.
Right.
Let me just, yeah. And so when they can't give a reason, I think that's where I really struggle. Because even me, I was thinking for myself, like, why would I want a kid?
Okay, can we talk about that?
Go.
When you have thought about, because you said that you are now leaning towards, maybe I want kids.
Yes.
What is the reason?
Okay, well, let me talk about what the reason I didn't want kids was, because that's helpful. So one, in this economy, period.
No, for real. Yes.
It's real.
Yes.
I can barely afford taking care of myself, and I'm going to bring another human into this life, and I don't want them.
Childcare is so expensive.
Yes. My mom friends have told me all about childcare. They've told me how much it is. Like, honestly, one of them right now was only working part-time because it's actually cheaper for her to work part-time and take care of the kids versus send them both so it's just, and she gets to spend time with them, so it's like a 2-for-1, you know. And so it's childcare is just, it's wildly expensive. That's
in this country,
yeah, that's one thing. And while I of course would want my mom, well, that's not true. I didn't want my mom around to help me with the kid because she and I had not had the best relationship, and I was concerned that a lot of those things that happened with me might happen with the grandkid, which I know is not always the case because it's just different when it's not yours, like when it's,
Yeah.
you know. But I also hadn't worked on myself enough yet at the time. And I had already seen and felt what it was like to have that generational trauma passed down. I
For
don't
sure.
blame
Yeah.
my mom. It just is what it is.
It's
She
the
didn't have
reality. Yeah.
it's the reality, and she didn't have the same opportunity that I did to do any of the therapy, any of the internal work, any of the unlearning. And so I'm like, okay, well, what the fuck am I going to pass on to my kid? It's impossible to think that we're not going to pass
Pass
anything
something
on,
on. Yeah.
any trauma on. It's just not possible. And part of my reason was like, oh my God, like, how am I going to fuck up the kid? Like, you know, and I know you can't prepare for everything. And of course, no one's perfect as a parent, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It was something that made me pause. And then there's the other piece of like, do I want a partner in this? Because you can choose to have a child without having a partner involved.
I thought about that for a long time because for a long time I was not in a relationship, and so I was when I was in that point, and I want to say it was like when I was 27 or 28, I was really thinking about, oh, maybe I do want a kid, and I want a kid. And I was talking to one of my cousins about this too. He does not have kids. And we were the cousins that were like the single ones in the family. Everyone is in
paired up,
long
coupled
term.
up.
Yeah, exactly. And so we were like, I was like, you could have a kid without a partner.
I mean,
I
it's
could have
true.
a kid without a partner.
It's true.
You know, it's completely possible, and it was something that I was actually thinking about. I didn't go too deep into it, but I was considering it as a real possibility, you know, doing something for myself without needing a partner to do that with.
Okay, one of my best friends from college, she actually has 2 kids now, and it's crazy because like out of the 4 of us, I was just like, what? Like she went from having no kids to 1 kid to 2 kids in the
It
span of like
happens
2
though.
seconds. I was like, wait. Like you just got married recently. We're dancing to Mamma Mia and now you have 2 children. But anyways, there was a point in her life before she met her husband where, because she has always known that she wanted, whatever, to be a mom,
Yeah,
but she hadn't found anyone that she thought that she wanted to be a
could be
mom
a good
with.
partner. Yeah.
Right. And so she really was thinking about just doing it solo. So that's the thing too. But she's someone who has always known that she wants to be a mom. Whereas
I thought for a while that was, yeah, because I hear those stories too where people have always just known that they wanted that in their life. And I don't think I have had that, you know? I don't think I've had that like instinctual. I mean, maybe I have maternal instincts for sure. Like I do like enjoy taking care of people, but it's like that hasn't really translated into me wanting to
take care of
be
a child.
mom, because I also have the logical side of my brain that's like, bro, like that's a lot of responsibility, and it is, and for all the same reasons that you have listed, one of them, like the major one being like, I don't want to fuck up this child, you know.
Yeah.
Like I don't, and I was having a conversation with my older brother recently because a couple years ago he was kind of on the same train. Not a couple years ago, maybe a handful of years ago now, he was kind of on that same thought of like, I don't know if I would be a good dad, I don't know if I would be, I have those kinds of instincts, or I don't, you know, all those doubts that you kind of think about, and the desire to not want to pass on the traumas that you have experienced from being the child of your parents.
Yeah.
And recently I was talking to him about it, and he's like, the pages turned for him, where he's more ready, and he's talking about how his future kids, like plural. And I'm like, that was also a moment where I was like, whoa. Okay, so I'm the only one over on this side now.
Is it just me now?
It's just me. It's just me over here. But yeah, it's just been a lot of like back and forth for me in my head, because yes, I am in a happy relationship, and I know that we are good partners to each other, but we both have our our reservations about bringing a new life into this
It is a big
world.
choice, and I think more people should really freaking think about it before they decide to do it.
Some people don't be thinking about it.
So, girl, some people really don't be thinking about it. They just be doing it and having multiple with S, plural.
Yes.
But I digress. It's rough too because working in education, I've seen so many types of parents and types of families, and there are some parents, and I might get hate for this comment, but like I'm like, yeah, every life is valuable. I just maybe wish that you had not like I don't know. And for me, that's shitty to say, but at the same time, I grew up in a situation that wasn't great. And while I'm not saying I wish I wasn't born, it's just like, I kind of wish there were more resources, and I wish a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so it
I
goes
remember
back to
you
like,
talking about that because you were at a point. I remember you telling me when you were teacher or principal, you were in it, and you're saying like, "Whoa, this is the best birth control that I could ever have."
It really was, yeah.
because
Well,
you're
you
seeing
see the
all of
best and
it.
the worst,
Yeah.
and there's some. It's crazy too because like there are some parents who like just like they haven't made the best choices, and yet their kids are phenomenal. And there are some parents who it's like they're trying really hard, or at least it seems so. And I'm like, ooh, like your kid is not doing what you kind of wish that they would do or who they wish they would be or whatever it is, right? So it's just really interesting to see just like the spectrum. And it kind of is just like it's a gamble, and you got to build. I feel like too, if you bring a kid into the world, you really have to be responsible for the kind of adult that they become. And I see our friends doing it, like giving boundaries, setting consequences, like being parents. And I'm like, wow, like you really have to commit to doing it. And it's a big deal, I think.
Yeah. One of our elementary school friends was just posted. She's a new mom, and she posted on her story. I think it was today that I saw it, where she was sharing that having a child, having a newborn, really does make you hard stop in the life that we're constantly living in the fast lane. It forces you to slow down whether you like it or not, and it's a reminder that this is like a lifelong commitment,
right? You can't go back.
No control Z.
Some people really be acting like they never did it though, like
you did this.
Yeah.
This is the consequences.
Like,
for better or for worse.
You have to be there. You have to show up.
So we talked about the reasons why we were hesitant or did not want kids, or what kind of led to us doubting whether we wanted kids or not. But let's talk about the reasons that we may want to have kids. What's like the number one thing that's come up for you? Top two things.
Yikes, top two things.
Because for me, given all of that we just talked about, about not wanting to pass on traumas, one of the things that my brother said, and I'm going to paraphrase, is that, of course, we're not perfect human beings. There are things that we've experienced and traumas that we have internalized, but we've also had a lot of growth. And having a kid, whether that, like, not that is a sole, like, reason to have kids, but it's an opportunity to help with that, breaking that generational cycle, generational trauma, and be the parent that you wish you had growing up. And that was kind of, not that it was something new that I heard, but it's kind of comforting in a way, because it's recognizing how far you've come in your own growth and self-awareness, and the things that trigger you, and the things that you for sure know that you don't want in your parenting style. And it's an opportunity for you to apply those things that you've learned with a little human being. And that's exciting. That could be exciting and fun. So yeah, that was one thing that came up from that conversation that was like, maybe that could be a
Maybe.
good reason. But I don't know if you have any like top reasons.
I mean, well, I kind of talked about having done a lot of more internal work and that being part of the reason why I'm more ready now than before. But I think another reason, honestly, and it's not like a romantic reason or like a life, like, wow reason at all. It's just that I feel like I'm more ready. Like, I could handle that responsibility a lot better. And I selfishly also did not really consider having kids before because I didn't want to be unselfish. There were a lot of things that I
That
wanted
too.
to
That's a reason for me
do.
too. Hmm.
And it's not like moms don't do those things. Like clearly, like our friends are still doing things. But what I'm saying is I didn't think that I could handle both. And that was just a personal belief about myself and whatever. That's just me. That's fine. And now I'm like, okay, well, I'm more willing to I don't know how to say it nicely, but like I'm more willing to not be selfish anymore about my time and what I'm doing. And I feel a lot more stable now. And a lot has to do with the person that I'm with too. Like if you were asking single Vanessa who was living in a studio in the back of somebody else's house, 2 years ago, maybe not so much. But now I'm
Hmm.
in a better place. I have a really dependable partner. And I do think that if it happened, I wouldn't be scared. I would feel safe and I would feel supported. And my relationship with my mom is good now. And so I think we'd actually be able to work together. I would trust her to help me with the kid. And that wasn't always the case. And now I feel like I'm more established here too.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a lot more about being ready. The funny thing is, when I was in high school, I thought that if I just fucking looked at a boy, I was gonna be pregnant. Like, oh, there was one time where I was like, should I take a pregnancy test? Literally had never had sex. And I was like, should I? I had a boyfriend at the time, right? And of course, like we made out, did stuff, whatever, but I never had sex. And I was like late for my period once, and I was like, oh my God, this is it. Fuck, I fucked up. I'm a teen mom. What am I gonna do? And we're like in Catholic school, so like I can't abort the baby. Like that's not an option. Like I'm gonna be one of those stereotypes, and my mom's gonna disown me, and I'm gonna be shameful. And then I got
That
older, and I was
thought
like,
spiral.
so real though. And now that I'm older, I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, actually you can't just get pregnant right away. Like it's not that easy. Like I really had this notion that it was so easy to get pregnant and I just need to be really careful. Like honestly, I kind of wish I could go tell myself in college to just be a little bit more of a hoe because I was also terrified of getting pregnant then too. And I knew about protection,
Yeah.
but I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, what if the condom breaks? I'm going to be a teen mom. I'm not ready for that level of responsibility. I'm still in school.
Hmm.
Yeah, looking back now, I'm like, yeah, it's actually not that easy. But
Yeah. Yeah.
the more you know,
Right. I just learned how babies are made in this podcast alone.
you can thank Evelyn for that one. Queen.
But I don't think I'm at that point yet that you're saying where
Oh,
I
wow. That's
am
so
ready
funny.
to be unselfish
Okay.
with my time.
Yeah.
Because I like it here. I like it here right now.
And I like it here.
Right, but like I am I'm with a partner that I really care about, and I know
Yeah.
that if it were to happen, like you said, I know that I'd be supported either way if I choose
I will
to
help you
keep
raise
it,
that baby, Melissa.
if
Don't
I
you
choose to
worry.
keep it or not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if it were to happen,
Right.
I know that he would be supportive. But right now, I don't think that's what I want. Like, I want to be able to enjoy my time and also being with my partner,
Yes.
just the two of us, and enjoying what that is. Because I've waited a long time to find somebody that I feel home with, feel safe with, and I want to live in that. And just because I
That's valid. Hmm.
am 32 and I am past my prime of
Well,
having children,
Can I ask you, how old is Boat Boy?
he's our age.
Ah, okay. I think I might feel differently because Ross from Friends is 37 now.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And that's not a very big factor. Like, whatever. He's
It's
not the
your
one having the
biological
child. It's my,
clock.
right. He could get a girl pregnant at 90. Like, it's fine. But what I'm trying to say is that I think a small part of me has thought like, oh, you're a little bit older. It would make then more sense for us to try like, before you're 40
Mm-hmm.
to go down that road and
Why not
still
pull an
be
Evelyn?
for him.
Yeah.
So okay, wait. I'm glad you said that because I did think about that. And my mom did say that it's harder when you get older. And she told me, I joke around and I say that she was like hoeing around for a kid because she kept saying, like, you're my miracle baby. Like, I was trying and trying. And it wasn't until I got older that I was like, wait, who are you trying with? Because you weren't married. Like, scandalous.
She just wanted
Evelyn.
a baby. She just
did,
wanted a
yes.
baby.
She said that, and I didn't put two and two together until I was much older. But I know that the longer that I wait, that potentially the more difficult it might be. And to my mom's point, another Evelyn is right situation. I don't want to wait until I am 40 because I do want to be a little younger, I guess. I don't want to be super geriatric when I have the kid. Just slightly
Right.
geriatric. Early
Just
geriatric.
slightly.
Just a little geriatric.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a factor. And I'm like, now I'm like logically thinking about all of that too. In terms of I want to have the energy, the stamina to be there to keep
The
up.
longevity
Toddlers
to,
are
like-
fucking wild. The energy that kids have is 10. Always 10. I need the energy to deal with that,
Mm-hmm.
Look at me now, having a breakdown at the Whole Foods salad bar. Like,
And okay, like that it brings up a good point because it's not only about willing to be unselfish. It's from what I hear because I obviously am not a mom. But
word on
from
the street is
the word on the street is that your whole life perspective shifts.
yeah.
And that's intriguing to me. Like, I would like to explore that realm. Another part of the reason why is like those parts of motherhood, like experiencing not only the biological, because I've always told myself, like, I do want to experience being pregnant and how my body, like, I know that pregnancy is like a shit show sometimes for people. Everyone's experience is different. But one of the reasons why that I always would account to one of the reasons why I would want to have a kid is the experience, like giving my body that experience, being able to experience like this
Changing,
biological
growing,
change.
making a life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And
That's so funny because that's like an anti-reason for me.
but it also is an anti-reason for me too, because like postpartum depression is freaking real. I'm already a
It's
depressed
real.
human being as it is. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be more depressed. And then
I
my
already
hair's going to be
suffered from
falling out.
seasonal depression. Well, there is a phase where your hair gets hella nice though.
Yeah. And then the baby comes out and it takes all your life away. You know what I mean? Like,
Sucks the life force right out of you when it pops out.
but apparently it's worth it.
Literally today, the principal at the school that I work with, her kid's gonna turn 1 in a couple of days. And so she was laughing, and so I was like, "Oh, no kids for me." And she was just, as a joke, And she was like, "There's some great parts and some not so great parts, but mostly great parts. Like they grow out of the not so great parts, like diapers."
You know what I also heard too? Like I watch a lot of YouTube, and there's a lot of like family vlogs that I've watched over time. And one of the people that I've watched for like almost 10 years, they now have kids. Like they have two young kids, and the thing that they always tell each other is that like, yes, the house is fucking messy, and if you've been watching us before we had kids, things used to be very pristine and clean, but we're currently not in that phase of life right now. And what I want to focus on is enjoying as much of the good stuff of this phase of life and not harp on all of the things that I used to have or wish it was,
Because you'll get it back eventually.
Yeah,
Once
exactly.
they
And
grow
so
up
that
and move
kind of gives
out.
me hope, because right now it's like, again, I don't want to be like, I want to be selfish because I feel like in a lot of other parts of my life, I'm I don't allow myself to be selfish, or I feel guilty for being selfish. So I want to be
That's not gonna
selfish.
change when you have a kid.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, can I just live in this moment for now? In
Yeah,
this time
and
of
I've
my
told
life.
myself too, like I'm just gonna enjoy it. And I also, like I said earlier, I'm not dumb now to the fact that it might be hard. And I really hope that that's not the case,
Yeah.
right? But I'm not, I think part of the reason why, again, that I am more open to it is because I do realize that the longer I wait, potentially, like, who know, I don't even know if I can get pregnant. You know what I mean? Like,
That
that's so
thought's come up for
crazy.
me too, and my partner too. We've just like, whoa, what if every month we're just like, uh-oh, but then we also think about what if we can't even get pregnant, like
Yes, and
that's a big
that's
question.
why. So my IUD is due to come out in the summer. I really got to figure
Your
out that whole
IUD baby,
situation.
IUD baby.
She did good work and she's coming on out, or she needs to, anyways. I was told when I went to the doctor 2 years ago. Um, yeah, they were like, "You have 2 more years on this girl left," and I was like, "Cool, cool, cool. Go ahead. Let's keep
Putting
on
it in my
trucking."
calendar.
Yeah. So now I'm like, okay, it's coming up on that time, and I'm like, so I gotta figure it out, and I'm not gonna get another one in because obviously I want my body to be adjusted and ready should that happen. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Interesting choices. Revelations on the podcast
And
today.
I know that there's a lot of our friends that have had IUDs. My cousin had an IUD for a long time, and then she took it out, and then that's when she knew that she needs to let her body like readjust. One of my friends is also doing the same thing. We're getting off of birth control so that their body can kind of readjust, so that
It's
if the time
terrifying.
comes that they can start trying to have kids. And I am the non-birth control girly, because I've had my fair share with all different kinds of birth control, except the IUD. But I've just not had a great time with the way that it messes with my hormones.
Yeah,
So
that's
I've
fair.
just been dodging with teenage pregnancy every,
Every fucking day.
every month.
I told Ross, I was like, what if I don't even like you anymore after I get my IUD out? I hear that things change for some people. But, anyways, I digress. So, yeah,
Yep.
I guess where I'm at now is that while I have happily dodged teenage pregnancy for the past few years of our life, I now am okay with the idea of it happening. Not tomorrow. When I say I'm okay with it happening, I mean in like a year from now's time,
Ooh, a
minimum. But like
year. You've put a time stamp on it.
minimum. Did you hear that part? Minimum. Okay?
All I heard
Okay?
was a year.
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
Shop for strollers now.
Nope. Absolutely not. Don't even send me diapers. It's not happening. But yeah, after that, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Talk to me next
And
summer. See what's up. How I feel. Maybe I'll be like no again. You never know. Things could change.
next summer, Vanessa's going to be like, I'm pregnant.
Even that made me like, shit. That'd be crazy.
Damn.
People do crazy things, amazing
I,
things.
a lot can happen in a year or not.
And I know some like bomb ass moms and like women who have kids and still, run businesses and do all these amazing things. So it's
That,
obviously, right? So it's like, yeah, I can see a future where that's possible for me too. And that's also why I guess I feel less scared because I'm like, okay, well, if they're all doing it, I can do it.
that's another thing too. That has given me comfort. That has comforted me in these like unsure thoughts and back and forth
These
thoughts.
trying times.
In these trying times, I see badass moms doing badass things and not, there's a lot of people that I see too that are not, they take having kids as not a limitation to the things that they want to do in life. It's just another added thing. It's just part of the equation now. So it's kind of comforting to think of it in that way. So, yeah.
Okay, well, if you're thinking of pregnant or are pregnant, let us know.
If you're
We're
thinking
here for
about
you.
getting pregnant, if you're unsure about having kids in general, if it's same. All of it. And that's why I wanted to talk about this, because I know it's an uncomfortable topic for
Yes.
people that may are maybe in their late 20s, early 30s that have been fed this idea of having kids at this prime time in your life. And
That's so wild. Do they still do segments like that about like teen moms? That's such a big thing now. Like that felt like a freaking epidemic when we were kids. Like that was like the thing. They're like, don't be a teen mom. Like, don't have sex.
like PSAs on like TV.
Yeah, yes.
I don't know. You're the one at
We even had
schools.
We even had a TV. Well, I'm in an elementary.
Oh, true.
school.
You're not in high school.
No, but like there were even that was even, on MTV. There was even a show, right? Teen Mom. Like that was a whole
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Dumb. Anyways, yeah.
Anyways, but whether you were a teen mom or not, you could still be a great mom. But all of it's uncomfortable. Thinking about having an expanding family is a big decision in life, and I don't take that lightly, hence why I wanted to talk about it. But hopefully this conversation helped you be a little bit more comfortable with the idea that you're not the only one having these thoughts.
You too. We too, rather. We too are also worried about teen pregnancy at our 30th
And my
year
body
of
changing
life.
so much before and after.
If you though
Anyways.
have gone through this, if you were hesitant, now you have kids, and like let us know. Like DM us,
What
share
are the
your story
feels?
with us.
Thoughts
What
and
are
feelings.
the feels, changes? Let us know what it's like because we're dying to know.
All right. Well, we will see you in the next episode of the podcast. Thank you all for listening. Wear protection. Want more of the I'm Uncomfortable podcast? Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at I'mUncomfortable.podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and join our Facebook group, the I'm Uncomfortable Club, to gain early access to our episodes and exclusive content. We're available wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.